very strange, different.
How could simple steps give rise to one neighborhood?
I've never seen this in other places of the world.
Connect the people of a city
They feel part of all the social environment in the city.
and restore pride and a sense of importance.
This neighborhood is an example for the city and for the world.
A surprising out-of-the-box solution is changing lives in this community in Colombia. Find out why the world is taking a look at this country's innovating spirit on Latin American Rising.
I'm Alejandro Ora. On today's premiere program, we travel to Colombia to discover how Medellin, once known as one of the world's most dangerous cities, has transformed into an innovative global city. Find out how public transportation, ingenuity, and an entrepreneurial spirit are helping chart a new direction.
1,750, 1,800 pesos, que quiere decir
Join me as we reveal stories that capture the imagination and celebrate the rise of human spirit. This is Latin America Rising, Colombia. Medellin. It's Colombia's second largest city, located in the province of Antioquia. And according to the Brookings Institution, it's also the fastest growing metropolitan economy in Latin America, mostly driven by the manufacturing sector, particularly the textile industry. This part of Colombia was settled in the 1600s by the Spanish and developed into a self-sufficient farming community. People refer to themselves as paisas and say entrepreneurship has been at their core from the very beginning.
Paisas are very open and at the same time laid back, meaning we look at simple things and we can do big things with simple things.
Everything we do is to improve our life here, our quality of life, the private sector, public sector, our city in general.
I think innovation is doing more with less. So I think we have always done that.
With the arrival of the railroad in the early 1900s came the Industrial Revolution. This region quickly became a manufacturing powerhouse as paisa ingenuity and innovation inspired people to look for the next business opportunity. Today, Medellin's highly skilled manufacturing industry remains at its core. But it's the city's urban planning and public transportation that stands out. And while there is a rising story to be told here, it's only remarkable if you consider where Medellin was just a decade ago and how the city and Colombia climbed out of their darkest moments. During the last several decades, the South America country was harshly impacted by revolutionary fighters, drug traffickers, and paramilitary groups. Violence in Colombia peaked in 2002, but since then, the country has experienced a significant trend toward peace with the demobilization of illegal groups and a peace process in motion. Medellin is perhaps the starkest example of Colombia rising, reconciling the past and moving forward. And that's where this story begins. Transformation through transportation. Urban development that sparks social change. City leaders say that sums up Medellin's innovative rise as a city during the last decade. The concept to change the city's persona involved lifting the poor, violent neighborhoods by connecting them to jobs through world-class transportation. In 1988, the city built a metro system connecting not just the north and south parts of the city, but also people from different economic backgrounds.
So this is what started all.
Yes, that's
The
right.
transformation, the innovation in Medellin.
Right now, all this transportation system helps to change the behavior of the people. It helps to get a more social, more happy city.
As the metro began to transform the city, urban planners gazed upward into the hilly, inaccessible, and dangerous slums. They realized people couldn't easily get out for work, while not many from the outside dared to go in. Their solution? Cable-propelled transit.
This might remind you of a skiing trip, something you typically see on Switzerland or probably Colorado. But this is the first cable car made for public transportation. It was built in 2004, and what's interesting is that it connects the underdeveloped areas with the most exclusive parts of Medellin. Let's talk about social inclusion.
Riding the gondola and hovering over these neighborhoods, residents tell us these gondolas mean so much more than just a way in and out. They also bring in a sense of pride.
Wilmar, who lives in this community, is telling me that after the Metro Cable or the cable car was built in 2004, violence has significantly reduced in the area. They're having better access to education, and they basically have eyes in this part of the city, something that never happened before.
Now there are 3 gondola lines carrying 20,000 passengers a day. It's an original idea that has since been replicated in other cities, such as Rio de Janeiro, La Paz, Caracas, and Ankara. But Medellin definitely doesn't limit itself. Take a look at their newest mode of transportation and latest talk of the town. It is a state-of-the-art, Belgian-made streetcar expected to go online early next year. With a bullet train appearance and equipped with rubber tires, it is made specifically for Medellin's hilly terrain. It's the pride and joy of outgoing Mayor Aníbal Gaviria, who met us in a neighborhood undergoing a revitalization thanks to this project.
El sistema de transporte en Medellín
The transportation system of Medellin is the great uniting force.
no solo es integrador de la ciudad,
It doesn't just unite the city geographically, it also unites different
sino
social
que
stratas.
integra las distintas capas sociales. Elimina las barreras.
It eliminates barriers and generates a sense of belonging within the people of Medellin.
Al ciudadano de Medellín.
Mayor Gaviria invited me for a preview run on the streetcar.
60 centavos de dólar.
He says for 60 cents, people can connect to any point of the city using the entire transportation system. He says Medellin puts so much emphasis on transportation because that's where people spend so much of their time. And by bringing the same level of services to all citizens, it creates equality.
Lo que queremos a través de estas amplísimas ventanales es que
The mayor tells me that oversized windows create a connection between people riding the tranvía and the people on the street, a true uniting experience.
los sitios donde tenemos los cables,
The neighborhoods where we have cable cars, streetcars, and escalators are more peaceful today and have lower levels of poverty and inequality.
y desigualdad. No solo es que aquí
It's not only the streetcar that runs through this neighborhood, but also urban reform that is spread throughout the entire area.
But innovation doesn't only mean the latest technology. It could also mean putting something ordinary in an unexpected place. A new artery zigzags up a hillside in Medellin, Colombia. But this isn't just any normal hillside, and this isn't just any form of transportation. We are at Comuna 13, eye-catching with its colorfully painted homes and its tidy, peaceful walkways. However, people in Colombia might remember it differently. It was an area that was plagued with violence, once a stronghold for guerrillas and drug traffickers. Today, the most curious part of this neighborhood is a series of outdoor escalators. Escalators that run 384 meters. A practical solution that eliminates a steep climb for residents, But what's even more remarkable is how this simple innovation has helped bring peace and pride.
So at the end of
Architect Carlos Escobar came up with the innovative idea.
If you think about it, building escalators in the middle of a favela, a poor neighborhood, a ghetto, like you called it, it's
tough work.
kind of weird.
Yeah, sure. It was a big
You see this in a mall,
yeah.
right?
It was a huge challenge that we had to face in this moment, because nobody trusts in that this project would be possible. Before the project, this area was under control of a lot of gangs. But right now, this area becomes like a neutral zone, like a neutral area where all those gangs, they feel that they don't have the control of this territory, that the control in this moment is in the community hands. It is really beautiful because after the construction, we never heard nothing about violence in this place.
On a daily basis, the escalators go up and down through the densely populated neighborhood of some 12,000 people. It turns a tiring trek into an effortless ride, whether it's going to work, bringing up groceries, or just making life easier for children and the elderly. It even brings a safe, clean Main Street feel to the area. Residents told us they feel proud to live in Comuna 13 and no longer feel the desire to live somewhere else.
I'm proud because it's the first neighborhood in Colombia that had escalators, a beautiful view, and beautiful house, beautiful people. The people is very joyful.
It is not uncommon to see visiting urban planners looking to gain inspiration.
I think it's the first time I see an escalator in a deteriorated neighborhood. Yeah, I think this is 100% innovative.
Or a field trip of local bankers who never stepped foot in this area before.
I never thought to come here before, and now that I see this place, I feel like this is my city, and there are a lot of people working for the community, and I can also do some work to help others, and I can see the changes here real, so it's pretty amazing.
But what mostly caught our eyes was the amount of tourists roaming the comuna, whether accompanied by a guide or those who ventured here on their own by public transportation and found a welcoming neighborhood.
Very strange, but different. We've never seen a thing like that.
Oh, salsa. I saw you interacting and talking to one of the community watchers of the comuna. What have you thought so far of this place?
I think it's really, really beautiful, and I really like how different it is than the rest of the city.
It's a remarkable rising of a neighborhood.
It changed the mind of the people who lives here. It changed the mind of the people who lives outside of the comuna. I think the escalators is the engine to a lot of social transformations right here in Comuna 13.
If innovative public transportation has been the grand reuniter in Medellin, competitive infrastructure is also being credited as a catalyst for Medellin's current economic growth. In the Brookings Institution's latest ranking of the fastest growing metropolitan economies in the world, Medellin takes top honors in Latin America. In its 2014 ranking of 300 cities, Medellin jumped up 33 spots from the previous year to number 46, rising above Lima, Bogota, and Mexico City. As we look to see where this growth is happening, three sectors stand out. Medellin's long-established manufacturing and textile industry, a new bet on science and technology, and global initiatives by Colombian companies. The common denominator in all three? The companies are competing in a fierce global economy. Take, for example, this appliance manufacturing plant built just 3 years ago by one of Colombia's emblematic companies. Haseb Industries invested $62 million in this 22,000 square meter facility. They say they installed the most efficient equipment on the market and that the facility exceeds all the requirements of major environmental protocols in the world. Whirlpool, even took notice of HACEB, entering into a rare 50-50 joint venture to produce washing machines, the only plant of its kind in the Andean region. HACEB's CEO credits the company's 96-year-old founder for instilling a culture of innovation that remains at the core of the company and its people.
I would say Colombian people are very smart people, very hard-working people. We have a resilience culture, so when you look back 20 years, 30 years, our country was facing a lot of problems. Now there is a country which has faith in the future. And I would say that happens in Colombia, in Medellin, and in HACEB. We are very hardworking people, we are very passionate. I think we are a very positive culture, and we are always working to find the best solution.
And innovation happening in this laboratory could revolutionize the natural food industry on a global scale. You're looking at a blue food coloring that is 100% natural. And believe it or not, it fills a wide open need in the color additive industry. It is made from the jagua plant fruit found in the Colombian rainforest and offers the food industry an alternative to synthetic dyes.
It's a big deal. With the natural blue, we are entering a big market which has been lacking the blue, and the blue is absolutely necessary to develop a rainbow of color possibilities. Lacking the blue doesn't allow to produce many different colors that are needed for the food industry.
The blue dye has been patented in more than 80 countries by the Colombia company Ecoflora Cares and its founder, Nicolas Koch. But launching innovative global products isn't anything new for the entrepreneur. His original company, Ecoflora Agro, distributes plant-based alternatives to chemical pesticides for use in agriculture worldwide.
Colombia is a place where many things are happening with talented people, committed and motivated people, and there's many things happening here in terms of innovation, of entrepreneurship, that I'm sure will be of great impact to contribute to a better world.
Could Colombia's next global impact be in science and technology? A new modern building rises at a strategic juncture of Medellin. It's called Ruta N, or Route N. Here you'll find an ecosystem that is currently home to 78 local and international technology, science, and innovation-based businesses. It accounts for 1,400 jobs. But what makes this project unique to Colombia is the level of partnership between public and private sectors, beginning with the structure itself.
Why did you pick the north part of the city, of Medellin, to build the building here?
Because this part is...
Ruta N director, Juan Camilo Quintero, told me when the government began construction, they envisioned an innovation district that is sandwiched between the financial center, a major university, and poor residential neighborhoods. Colombia's new Silicon Valley, if you will. Inside Ruta N, modern workspaces with a startup atmosphere where people can share ideas and network within private and academic circles. Here you can access tools to do everything from protecting intellectual property to accessing finances.
What's next for Ruta N, not only for Medellin, but for Colombia?
For Medellin, the most important aim right now is how to develop the innovation district.
Okay.
We expect to have until 2025 1.5 million new square meters in this area to attract new companies, new startups, new researchers to develop not only the city, the country, and in how to spread out the knowledge through South America.
Explora is an interactive science and technology park in Medellin, with more than 300 attractions, including Latin America's largest freshwater aquarium and a botanical garden. The area is a big draw for local residents and tourists alike. We decided to use it as a backdrop for a chat with Emilio Pombo, who started a global social media campaign that hopes to set the record straight about Colombia.
There's a common mistake made all over the world when people talk about your country, and it has to do with one letter. What's the problem?
You've said it, it's true. There's a common mistake and it has to be with the name of our country, Colombia. People usually are saying Colombia with a U. So we decided to launch a campaign in social media in order to tell all the world it's Colombia, not Colombia. They always say the Colombian writer, the Colombian soccer player, the Colombian artist. So we are beginning to change, and our solution is to create a social media campaign.
How was the campaign created?
People invited me and my partner to an international conference in New York, and they wrote an email saying, hey, you guys from Colombia wanna come to our conference? And we said, thanks for the invitation, we'll be there, and the name of our conference is gonna be It's Colombia, not Colombia.
Then you started talking about this mistake on the campaign. Then you had hashtags all over social media, memes that talked about Colombia, not Colombia,
Exactly.
and pictures of people all over the world with this campaign.
And it became very successful very fast because a lot of these people from Colombia that were having great things happening outside felt identified with the campaign. So they put on the t-shirt and they started through their social media explaining the mistake and correcting the people around the world.
To change the perception of your country, Emilio, we know it's Colombia, not Colombia. For you, what is Colombia?
Colombia is one of the greatest countries at the moment. We have changed and we have gained a lot of positive aspects that you have to come and get to know at first hand.
During the last decade, Colombia has made significant strides to rebrand itself as a nation. People here will tell you that they've always been happy, hardworking, and innovative. And now they say the future is looking even brighter as this country emerges onto the world stage in full splendor. Colombia, a story of Latin America rising.